when I did an exit interview with Senator Olson, John, he said, I really think in light of some revenue shortfall, we should reconsider expanding Medicaid. Is he the only Republican on JFC that is there?
Well, I mean, first of all, we're going to go back and get a reestimate on this, but that's always the argument where the Democrats go to right away, and I think it's what they estimate $300 million. Yet you actually, if you start looking at the money that actually goes to the people that are covered through the exchange throughout the state, they are actually getting subsidies. There's increased dollars that have flowed into the hospitals and the providers. Let's be honest, Medicaid traditionally underfunds those providers, and because of that, there's an additional shift. But if you look at those dollars that have actually gone to the subsidies for the taxpayer to buy their own insurance, has actually gone towards increased Medicaid reimbursement rates. I actually think we're better off, or it's very, very close to not be in a situation where Medicaid is the answer for every financial situation that we find ourselves in. I'm always going to be a believer in the private healthcare system.
Well, we now know how a few cops treat people in custody. That led to the governor's 9-bill package, police reforms, ban chokeholds, uniform statewide standards to train police. Could you support any of those 9 bills?
So, well, Representative Ott had a bill actually I did vote for on statewide standards for training for police officers and for use of force. I know I've had conversations with local law enforcement, and what they tell me is, first of all, chokeholds are only used like in a deadly force situation where their life is in jeopardy. So, I mean, I think there is an avenue to look at reform, do the right thing, but I'm always hesitant to react to something immediately in our society. And oftentimes when we do that, we overreact or we do the wrong thing. So I would rather have, I supported Jim Ott's bill on the standards, but I would rather have a long, in-depth conversation with both sides of this argument rather than just us politically doing something that makes us feel good but doesn't necessarily solve the problem.
We still don't have a long-term to pay for our highways. The governor recommended a gas tax increase. Are you any closer to supporting an increase in our 30.9-cent gas tax?
Well, I was a supporter of the gas tax increase under Governor Walker because it was based on the needs that were out there, right? We did just raise our title fee significantly, and that was meant to replace that gas tax increase. So, I mean, I guess now if there's an additional need, they're going to have to make that case with me. This is not a time to be, all excited about bringing additional tax dollars into Wisconsin. We need to be looking at ways to balance our budget within the dollars that people are already giving us.
Another issue that you've heard a lot about is, you want to highlight any other differences with you and your opponent on August 11th?
Sure. Primary. First of all, hey, I respect anybody that's got passion. She definitely has a passion for the water issues. She's passionate, but besides the water issue, she readily admits that she supported Bernie Sanders twice, most recently in April. So if you look at, she supports universal health care. She supports the Green New Deal. She supports she believes we should still be shut down as a state. So, I mean, she's got a lot of positions that are not consistent with Republicans,